All right, guys, welcome back to Overtime Arcade. I'm Charlie, and in this video, we're going to start yet another project. I know, I've got way too many projects going on right now out in the garage, but like I've said, I'm behind on these videos, and I want to show them all to you so that you know what to expect in the coming weeks and months on this channel. So I know I've also said this before, but this particular project is a little bit different than what I typically do. So first of all, it's actually for a buddy of mine. This game isn't for me. So I've got a friend and former coworker who has really wanted a game out in his garage, and he's really wanted a Golden Tee. So that's what I'll be working on. It's a Golden Tee 99. It's a JAMA game, a little bit later than what I typically work on, but it's before they introduced hard drives and made the sort of PCBs a lot more complicated. So I should be able to get it working. The other thing, I got this game for free. Absolutely free. That's right. I didn't spend a penny to acquire this machine. I got it as a project. It doesn't work at all, but it's got a monitor, it's got the PCB, it's got the power supply, so the main ingredients are there. But other than it not working, I have no idea what's going on with this thing. So in this video, we're going to head out to the garage, we're going to dig into the cabinet, see what's going on, and maybe try to fix it up a little bit to at least get some signs of life coming out of the machine. So why don't we head out to the garage and get started? Let's go!
Overtime!
All right, here it is. The Golden Tee 99 that I got for free. And yeah, I literally have not touched this thing. I haven't even looked at it since I picked it up. And here's hoping that in this video together, we'll at least get to be able to get it working somehow. So I have no idea what's going on with this machine. All I know is what the seller told me. I guess he's not really the seller if I got it for free. He told me that it just wasn't powering up and he really hadn't done any troubleshooting, diagnosing, anything beyond that. And we didn't try powering it up when I picked it up. It was pouring rain, so I wanted to get it onto the truck as quickly as possible and get out of there. But yeah, I took a look inside and it looked complete, so we'll see what's going on. So why don't we get mounted on the tripod, and I'm going to grab some scissors and we will cut into this thing. Definitely an unusual game for me. Super popular game, but as all Golden Tees are, but not necessarily something that I gravitate towards. So I'm just gonna take some scissors and cut open this stretch wrap. All right, look at that. Did I tie this on? I don't even remember. All right, Golden Tee 99. Allegedly, I mean, I have no idea other than there's a marquee on it. So let's take a closer look. So the marquee says Golden Tee 99. However, this is supposed to say like Peter Jacobson's, so it was cut off, like the Pete part of Peter was cut off. So I don't know if this was a kit, because this is a Golden Tee cabinet, right? So maybe this was an earlier Golden Tee that got converted to 99 or upgraded to 99. I have no idea. So we got some speaker grills right there. Here's our monitor. I think this is 25 inch, maybe it's 27. I think there's some kind of plexiglass maybe missing here. Because like I can just touch the tube and there's like this piece of wood. So I would imagine there's some sort of plexi, and there's almost like a gap right here where it should go. A couple of buttons and one over here, and a trackball that at a minimum needs to be lubricated, possibly rebuilt entirely. Coming on here, we got some coin doors, one that's got duct tape over it. We got some stuff going on in here. You can already see a cut wire test switch, and I can't even read that. 58,903 maybe. coin mechs. And I'm missing the coin bucket down there. And I think this was a bill acceptor maybe, but it's strange that there's no like sticker or anything on it. But yeah, we got some cobwebs. And down at the bottom, there's no side art at all, so we'll figure that out at some point. We've got some corner protectors down in the corners on the sides. And here's the back. Back looks okay. Power switch. It's a small back door right there. Some air holes for ventilation on the top and bottom. And we're missing a corner protector over here. And unfortunately, that has resulted in this corner getting blown out. So we'll fix that up, no problem. So, yeah, why don't we open up the back. Like I said, I haven't looked at this thing since I got it. So, if the gimbal wants to cooperate. So there is a lock here, but the door is being held on with a couple of screws. And there we go. Back door is off. And what do we got going on inside of this thing? Okay, let's see. Should we come take a look together? So down here I see a switching power supply, as to be expected from this this generation or this era of arcade cabinet. I guess that is a line filter right there. Looking in the bottom of the cabinet, looks relatively clean. You know, some cobwebs and various sundry items. I don't know if that's a quarter over there. Some washers and stuff. And over here we have the game board. And I see the ROM stickers say GT99, and you can see the Incredible Technologies IT logo at the bottom. So that looks good. There's yeah, the JAMA edge connector is plugged in down there, but there's also on both ends of the cabinet, there are these red connectors, these red headers that are not plugged in, so I don't know what's going on with that. We've got some kind of switch mounted over here, which is a little bit strange to me. Oh, that maybe that's the that's a switch. Weird. Okay. No transformer. Yeah, that's a bill acceptor over there, and it's been disconnected. Okay. Got a whole bunch of stuff disconnected so far. Let's come up here and look at this monitor. So it's a Wells Gardner, and it's a 25K 7191, so a K7000. So not bad at all, manufactured January 2000. So, is this the original monitor? If the game was a 99, interesting. So I'm trying to look. I do see a small crack on the transformer, or on the flyback. You're not gonna be able to see, and this light is making a mess of everything. Yeah, so what do we have cut out for me? So I think what I want to do is, you're always supposed to start with power and connection. So I'm actually going to disconnect a lot, and we'll turn on this power supply and see if we can even get the correct voltages out of the power supply. So let me get set up for that. Okay, the wiring in this thing is an absolute train wreck. I just spent several minutes kind of tracing everything out just to kind of get a sense of what's going on. It's using all the same colors, and yeah, it's just it's just a mess. There's no way this is all factory. So from what I understand, this is the power cord. Power comes in here, comes up to this power switch, which is sort of backwards from what you would expect. Up is off and down is on, but that's just the way it's wired up. And it comes down here, and I've got it marked here. This is AC from switch 1. Comes down here and goes over to there. That is another switch right there. That is the sort of normal setup where up is on and down is off. And then it comes back to here. This is, I marked it with my P-Touch label maker. This is the AC coming from switch 2. That goes into this line filter. And then the line filter goes down to this fuse right here, and a fuse holder, and then here into the input to the power supply. But also coming off of the line filter and off of that fuse is this wire, and this is the monitor power, which plugs in right here. Except it shouldn't be like this, right? If you see this label right here on the power input wires into the monitor, it says, warning, isolation transformer must be used. And there's no isolation transformer anywhere in this cabinet. There's nowhere it was originally mounted. So yeah, and it wasn't correctly wired up at all. It was actually just electrical taped together. And not only that, there were 2 male pins, right? So like right here, there were 2 male pins just electrical taped together, and I saved one to prove it, and I cut it off and threw a couple of you know, wire nuts on the end here just to keep it safe. And so I've got this marked as the monitor power. My guess is that this is not the original monitor from this cabinet. So it must have had some other kind of monitor that's designed for, like it'll have like an onboard isolation transformer, I guess, so it doesn't need a separate isolation transformer. And then they popped this one in here, and then probably tried to run it without an ISO and fried the monitor. So far, all I've done is I jammed my multimeter probes back there to the front of the chassis, and yeah, that the fuse is blown. I mean, the chassis, you know, doesn't look too bad, but you can never tell just by looking at it. But I'm going to guess that this monitor is probably dead, so we'll have to deal with that at some point. It didn't even have any kind of ground connected to it other than the one on the video cable. I'm guessing this is where a ground is supposed to be plugged in, or maybe over here on the frame. But yeah, so I'm assuming this monitor is DOA right now. So what I want to do is, again, starting with power, I want to test this switching power supply and see if we're getting, you know, 5 volts out of it, and negative, you know, +5, -5, and +12. So I've got everything disconnected except for what's involved with powering on the cabinet. So the power cord and the 2 switches, the line filter, that fuse holder, and then I've got the inputs going into the power supply. So let's get hooked up on the tripod and we will test this sucker out. I guess one thing I probably should have done was test the fuse that's in there, which I haven't done yet. So I've just got my multimeter set to continuity. I'll just come in here and is this fuse blown? Nope, that fuse is good. Let's get this weird fuse holder. Yeah. Yep, that fuse is good. So that's good. That's one thing working. So the other thing was the plug on the end of the power cord was cut off, so I've temporarily put a new one on. I'll end up replacing this power cord entirely at some point, but this is just a temporary fix. So and it's so short, I've got it plugged into my AV cart, and that's plugged into the wall. So let's go ahead and test this power supply. Oh, you're not going to be able to see that over there. Okay, so we can go ahead and power it on. So now I believe we should be sending power to the power supply. I noticed that the red LED is not lit up. So let me come in here with my multimeter set to AC volts. And we see that, yes, indeed, we have just over 120, if you can see this. Put it right here, maybe. Okay. We've got a little over 121 volts going in, but if we put it on DC volts, and I'm now on +5 and ground, we've got no DC volts coming out of the +5 line. Switch them around. I've got nothing coming out of the -5 and nothing coming out of the 12. So this power supply is dead. And I have linear power supplies in all of my games. So I do have actually, though, this Peter Chu power supply. I don't actually know if this works, but I'm going to swap this in and then we'll test that and see if that one's working. All right, I've got the other switching power supply installed here. We're ready to go and hook it back up as the crickets are going crazy. And this is, again, some of the other wiring in here. This was originally connected to the original power supply before. I think this was just sitting at the bottom of the cabinet, you know, with some marks on it. This is definitely not factory. So let me come in here and start reconnecting. And you got to make sure when you put a new power supply in, don't just assume that the wires go in the exact same spot as where they did on the previous ones, because like even here, the last one had two different lugs for the +5 volts output line, and this one only has one, which is fine. So get everything plugged in here. All right, again, all I have is the line input from the main power cord and the ground, obviously, and there's nothing coming out of the power supply. So we can go ahead and turn it back on. All right, we've got a red LED indicating we have some sort of activity happening. So come in here with our multimeter and we'll test the output voltages and make sure these are good. So I'm going to put my black on ground and my red lead here. We've got a little over 5, okay? And switching them around, test the -5. That's a little low, and 12 is a little high. So I might actually turn this down a hair because there's an adjustment dial. I want to lock in the 5 volts. Maybe, whoops. We can always adjust it at the board. Maybe 5.5 should be fine. And we'll see what that did to the other voltages. All right, -5 is even lower. And 12 is looking a little bit better too. So I would say this power supply is working. So I'll power off right now. So what's our next step? So we've got decent enough voltages coming off of the power supply. So I'd feel comfortable running that voltage to the board. But this monitor is dead, right? At a minimum, the fuse is blown, and we could have other issues going on. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a different monitor and plug that into a isolation transformer just to see if we can get an image on the screen. So let me get set up for that. I know, I know, this is not what you were expecting to see. But let me explain. So it's funny, She Lion posted a YouTube short the other day that kind of summarizes this. You know, you tell yourself, I'm going to go out to the garage, I'm going to work on this stuff, and I'm going to be done at like 9 p.m. And, you know, the next thing you know, it's 1 o'clock in the morning and you're not done. And that's something I've experienced quite a bit, and it's something that I experienced here. So, you know, like I said, I went to grab this, extra monitor that I have, which is a 13-inch K7000, which originally came out of this little rinky-dink mini cabinet that I showed on my April Fool's video. And I go to turn it on, and it's an HV shutdown, this monitor. It's just one thing after another. this thing had been flaky, but it had been working. I had used it to test, various JAMA boards in the past, but yeah, I guess uh, not anymore. And I checked my checked the clock, and it was 2:30 a.m. At that point, and I had to catch an early morning flight for a business trip the next day. So I packed it in and called it a night there. And it didn't stop there. So I hit the road, and the next day I actually placed an order with Arcade Parts and Repair. Basically some stuff to rebuild this monitor. And also I wanted to put together finally a dedicated test bench power setup for working on monitors. Sort of similar to what we got here with an isolation transformer and line filter, etc. I'm back home now, and that order from Peter, arcadepartsandrepair.com, should have arrived yesterday. And it's not here. Oh, and believe me, it's not Peter's fault. I keep hitting refresh on the USPS tracking site, and latest update is it showed up in Honolulu this morning. And no, I am not kidding you. My parts are in Honolulu, Hawaii. I have no idea. Peter is in Missoula, Montana, I think, and I'm in Virginia, and Hawaii is not on the way. So, yeah. So, so what I've done, without the parts that I needed, really for now, I pulled diode D10 off of the that monitor. Again, it's a 13-inch K7000, and I was able to get an image on the monitor. So it comes up now, and it's definitely not fixed, but I'm going to see if I can get this thing working. So this is the Golden T99 board that I pulled out of the cabinet, and just a couple things I want to show you here. So here is the Incredible Technologies logo, and it says copyright. That's Roman numerals for 1996. So I don't know if this was originally a Golden T97 that maybe got converted to Golden T99. You can see the chips here. Some of these ROMs say GT97, copyright 1997. These over here say, whoa, GT99, copyright 1999. Some stuff over here says, what does that say? ITGF 99. I'm not sure, copyright 98. So I'm not really familiar with these chips, but yeah, so I'm guessing maybe it was a conversion, a board conversion. Maybe they sold just the ROMs to plug in. But anyway, I'm going to fire this up and see if we can get something going. So basically what I've got is everything here is from this dumb cabinet. The monitor, the power supply, this whole, the JAMA harness and everything. The only thing from the Golden Tee right now is the PCB, which is JAMA, and it's plugged into the JAMA harness. So let's fire this sucker up and see if we get anything at all. So I'm just going to turn the lights off, and we'll flip the switch and see if we get, hopefully we get an image from Golden Tee. So there we go. Power supply is on. I hear the HV buzz. I don't see any LEDs lit on the game board, which isn't good. There's one over here that says sound status, one over here that says video status, and they are not lit. So, and the monitor has come up, the raster is on. We just got a red screen here. The colors are all screwed up on this monitor, but I'm not worried about that right now. And obviously it needs a cap kit, et cetera, et cetera. But no Golden Tee. So, So let me just sort of catch you up right here. So far with this Golden Tee that I got for free, remember, the power supply didn't work, but that's easy enough to replace. The monitor doesn't work, right? At a minimum, that fuse is blown, but most likely there's some real issues with the monitor in that cabinet because it had been hacked to run without an isolation transformer, which is a no-no for the monitor that's in there. And now the game PCB doesn't work. But it was free! So there's one more thing that I want to try. In this box over here, I've got one last hope. This is something that I bought on Clav from fellow Clav forum member Jonovision. and it's an untested Golden Tee 99 PCB set, and it's an entirely different form factor. So let me pull this thing out of here, and I'll plug it in, and we'll see if that PCB works at least. Okay, I'm set up and ready to test this other Golden Tee 99 PCB, allegedly. Like I said, Jonavision, when he sold it to me, said it was untested. So just looking at the board, this is a very different sort of setup than the other board that I have, which is still just up over here, which is a single PCB. This is really a 3-board stack. There's kind of a squarish bottom board and then 2 rectangular boards up on top. I see a couple different things here too. A couple of the boards have a copyright date screen printed or silk screened of 1994 actually, versus this one here still says 1996. Looking at some of these, the labels on the ROMs, I see these say GT99 Promo or Prom 0, Prom 1, not Promo, Prom 0, Prom 1, etc. But over here, these say GT G3, copyright 1995. So, and there's even some over here that say copyright 1992. So I don't know what's going on with this, but let's turn it on and see what happens. So power has been applied. We do have LEDs flashing on the board, so both the video status and the sound status LEDs are flashing. And we've got a test menu. All right. You know, the sort of wave that you're seeing is not in real life. It's just an artifact of the camera. Let's see if I can zoom in and make it kind of go away. No, but we have a test menu, and the test menu says, if you can read it, Golden Tee 99 version 1.00 S or 5 maybe. Again, the colors are wrong because the monitor screwed up, but hey, we've got some signs of life here. It says trackball up to move up, press start to choose. So we're in the operator mode menu. Move the joystick around. Okay, we try exiting. Okay, I can't exit the test menu. Oh my goodness, this is stuck. I keep hitting the start button on the this game, or the control panel for this ridiculous little mini cabinet, and I think that is actuating the buttons. Like I can go in here. Okay, we got sounds. All right, different adjustments, right? Let's see, system test, board test. All right, running tests. I mean, stuff's happening. Okay, what does it say? Board test passed at the bottom. So I don't know what's going on with this. You know, one thing I'm thinking is I don't think this cabinet has a test switch, like a switch to get on and out of test mode. So maybe I need to figure out, you know, maybe plug this into a different cabinet, like my NBA Jam. Maybe that does have I think that has a test switch. But anyway, it's getting late. It's Friday night. I've got to drive to New Jersey tomorrow. I'm going to be out all day tomorrow, Saturday. Which means if I want to get this video rather, released on Sunday at my normal sort of time, that means I got to get this video done and edited tonight. So even though this is kind of a short one, hopefully it gives you a little bit of taste. And just because I don't trust this monitor, I'm going to turn off the game right now. Yeah, I hope this gives you a little taste of what's to come when I get around to restoring this Golden Tee cabinet. Yeah, so I got it for free, which is great. Cabinet needs work. Monitor's dead. Power supply's dead. Game PCB is dead. But hey, it was free, so I hope my buddy appreciates it when I fix this up for him. So yeah, I think that will do it for this episode. There's a couple of exciting things that have actually been happening with the channel. First and foremost, we passed the 1,000 subscribers mark, and guys, that's incredible. And I have nothing to say but thank you to all of you who have subscribed to my humble little channel where I do dumb stuff with these arcade machines. I really, really appreciate all that support. I am going to, when I get around to it, hopefully this month, do a sort of live stream, a special live stream to thank you all for that, to celebrate hitting 1,000 subscribers, which has kind of been my short-term goal, with this channel. Kind of gives me some sort of signal that somebody out there enjoys what I'm doing, so I really appreciate that. So more details to follow on that live stream, that upcoming live stream. Another thing that this allows me to do is it allows the channel to be monetized. So, up until now, the ads that you've been seeing on my videos, they don't put a penny in my pocket. They all go to YouTube, they all go to Google. But now that I'm sort of bona fide as a channel with 1,000 or more subscribers, I'll start to get some of those pennies will go to me, and all of that will go back to, improving the channel and different projects to work on and that sort of thing. So thank you for all of that, support just by watching. It's great. One other thing that it lets me do is do channel memberships. If you've never done this before, basically it's kind of like Patreon, but it's on the YouTube platform. You can basically send me a couple of bucks a month to support the channel. And if you become a channel member, you'll get access to a couple of cool perks that I've set up. One is a members-only Discord server where you'll be able to chat directly with me and other viewers of Overtime Arcade, which should be a lot of fun. I'm going to do a monthly members-only exclusive live stream, which should be a lot of fun too. And you'll also be able to watch all of my videos as soon as they're uploaded, before the scheduled release time, which is, lately that's been Sunday afternoons. Sometimes I get these videos sort of put together during the week and they just sort of sit there waiting to be released. So channel members will be able to watch those as soon as they're done and as soon as they're uploaded. So more to come about memberships. I'm going to do a little sort of silly infomercial kind of thing. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for this episode of Overtime Arcade. I hope you enjoyed it. A little bit, I was hoping for better success, better results. But, eventually we'll get this Golden Tee 99 working again. So thanks again for all your support. Thanks for watching Overtime Arcade. I'm Charlie, and I'll see you next time.
Overtime!